My name is Adrian Nantchev, and this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification right next to it for the latest uploads. Now, how is it you go about selling? It's interesting really, because what comes to mind straight away is Jordan Belfort, Wolf of Wall Street, when he talks about sell me this pen. I want to say that selling right at the bat is a noble art. Selling is ultimately about solving someone's problem, and it goes much deeper than that. Selling is, about persuasion, but it's about solving a problem. Because people will sell themselves on the thing you're selling if they realise, through your marketing or efforts or advertising or whatever, reputation and such, that they realise they need your stuff. So the selling is very automatic, but at the same time selling is it's an art. It's an art. There's no right or wrong way around it, but there's a few different patterns because we're selling with humans, and humans, according to behavioural economics, are very predictable. They're what's the phrase now? They're irrationally rational, or they're rationally unrational, something like that. So they're predictably unpredictable. You know, we do crazy things, but predictably. So with regards to Jordan Belfort, this is what comes to mind straight out the bat when it comes to selling. Is one, see, the way to sell the pen is, one, you've got to qualify the lead. Are you in the market for a pen? And things like that. Do you need the pen? What kind of pen do you normally go for? Or what's your current pen you got now? Things like that. Because you've got to talk to the decision maker. There's no point in pitching or selling to someone if that person, let me just tell my boss, blah, 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 let me just get my boss. Blah, 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 blah. No, they need to be the one. And if they're not the right person, then you're wasting your time. And I remember also, as a side note quickly, I remember an episode of The Apprentice in the UK with Alan Sugar. And there's this one episode where the people go into this business on the high street or whatever, this big restaurant, and they're talking to someone, and they then realise that that person they're talking to isn't the decision maker, and it's like, they just wasted all this time. And also, as a side note, I remember another time where they had to get in there early, like 9 AM kind of thing, to talk to the decision maker first, get their decision there and then, not later on after 12 or whatever, and then somebody else can come in beforehand and sweep it. So got to talk to the decision maker and got to qualify the lead. But then also, interesting enough, you've got to tell a story behind your product. This is another way of selling the pen, which I heard this once, but I can't find it, where you don't sell the pen, you sell the story and sell the reason why they need the pen. So, for example, you say to the person that want to buy the pen something like, "Oh, you're a real estate agent. Oh yeah, imagine this. Imagine this. You're going up to your first hotel to sign your first $1 million contract with the first proper serious investor client. Imagine that he's pulled up in a very nice suit, $2,000 suit, white Bugatti. The document's there with his solicitor not on paper, but on vellum paper, so some serious stuff. And he pulls out a gold-plated pen, Parker pen. It weighs about nearly 1 kilogram, so it's heavy, serious duty stuff. Black ink, real old-fashioned fountain pen kind of stuff. Pulls it out. He has to unscrew, not pull off, unscrew the lid. And then he writes his name, his signature, and then he dates it. Then the solicitor and the client turns to you. You then realise that this is a serious event. You came here well dressed, nicely combed, good haircut, freshly shaved, things like that, not too smelly, things like that. Alright? So then you then open your lapel, or your blazer even. And what pen do you pull out? Do you pull out a fountain pen? Do you pull out a biro pen? Do you pull out a crayon? What do you pull out? You pull out a basic biro pen with the lid slightly chewed, slightly bent, and the whole thing is running out of ink, visibly running low on ink. What image does that send? And you struggle to write your name. The first few waves of your signature don't quite work. Not enough ink in there. Ooh, embarrassing. You're writing your name down. It doesn't work first time. You're down fucked up. Why? Because you had the wrong pen in the right situation. So imagine if you had with you the perfect pen for the perfect scenario. Because what are the client and the solicitor going to think afterwards? Especially writing on a vellum paper, not like normal paper from pulp or trees or hemp or whatever. Vellum, so this is serious stuff. What are they going to think? All this effort, all this energy, all this selling, all this persuasion, all the back and forth, all the telephone calls and all the rest, and then you pull out with a half-chewed, half-empty biro pen with the lid missing and slightly bent. What are they going to think? That's why you need my pen. So you don't really sell the product, you sell the story behind the product when you want to sell. Because most of the time you see people, as I mentioned earlier, they will sell themselves on the product. The business I've got already, there's no advertising, no marketing, so the customer acquisition cost is zero because people talk about it and there's a lot of word of mouth, and they'll persuade themselves into buying from you when they realise through a USP or such that they need what you've got to sell. But in the meantime though, you've got to persuade people. Not just all like shady, and hard selling, all that bullshit, because people don't like that. It works. People don't like it. They're not the same. I don't really do that, so I don't want to judge on it, but it's not what I do. So telling the story, people talk about sell the benefit, not the feature. So you see, there's an old saying which is, when you're selling weed killer, don't talk about your weed killer. Don't talk about the chemicals or the ingredients or the manufacturing process or the distribution. Talk about your customers' crabgrass. Talk about the weeds they've got. Join the conversation that's happening in their head already. If some people are thinking, I've got too much weeds, too many weeds, too effing up my garden, what the hell is this all about? And the new come along and say, well, Mr. X, my weed killer does this, X, Y, and Z. It tackles that weed, destroys that weed, good for the nutrients, blah, 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 blah. They're going to be more receptive because it matches their need, their problem. What did I say earlier? Selling is an art. Solving a problem is a noble art of solving a problem, and it's much more fluid because I've got a problem and you're solving my problem. You're not like trying to, it's not, I've got a problem, but then you're telling me about where it's coming from, the chemicals inside it. It means too much jargon, too much technical shit. I don't understand it. Therefore, it's not working. Ugh, go away. You're wasting my time. F off. So it's an art form. It's down to solving a customer's problem, because when you put their problems first, when you understand precisely who you're targeting, what their needs, what their solutions are, what their problems, and other crap that's happening in their life, then you can tailor your product, your USP, your price point, everything, your distribution in the perfect way so that it reassures them that they will get what they pay for and that it will solve their problem. Because ultimately customers want reassurance. They want reassurance that you got your money, that you got their money. They want reassurance that the order went through, and they want reassurance that it's going to work. And if it doesn't work, they want reassurance that they're going to get a refund, or you're going to solve that problem somehow. Recently, I ordered some boxes online. I ordered 50 of them, but I only got 25. So they come in packs of 25. So one pack was missing. I emailed the people, and I think they must do some stock check where they had a look at any surplus boxes, and they realised they got one surplus box, and they immediately said sorry or refunding all the rest. And it's like, this is a business that cares about the customer, and you've always got to put the customer's needs first and foremost, because when you don't put their needs first and foremost, you're missing out. In marketing, it's what's called customer centric. You have to have your business customer centric, so that every unique feature about every customer, their unique likes and dislikes, don't view it as a disadvantage or like, oh, effort. View it as a strength. What one customer loves, another customer might not care about. So therefore, tailor your marketing, your sales, your product, your pricing, everything to what they specifically want. Tesco's in the UK do this extremely well with their club card loyalty scheme, where people sign up, so they register, they get the details, bit email marketing right there, and then they get a card, or a number at least. So whenever they pay at Tesco's, they swipe the card, and this card tracks their purchases and also gives them a discount and collects points. This data gets sent to the head office, or some data point, and all sorts of algorithms and all the analytics and statistics, they'll then tailor a new offer or discount or coupon perfectly for you. So if you buy a lot of books, for example, your next book you might get £5 off or £5 off, and it's like no one else is going to get that apart from you, and it's like, bear that in mind. So using the uniqueness of a customer, a customer's uniqueness can be used to your advantage for selling, because you're solving specific problems that they specifically care about. So imagine if you give a coupon to a customer, £5 off next book. what's the likelihood of the lifetime value or the customer lifetime value to be maintained? They're likely going to take that coupon and buy something because they're going to use it as an excuse to buy something. And they're like, oh, I can get a discount on my next book. Yay! Exactly. So bear that in mind. So selling is a noble art. And tell a story. Focus on the feature. Yeah, focus on the features. Write that down. Focus on the features. So, but my question of you today, the question of the day is, how are you selling? The methods I've talked about is more or less the ways that I sell, but how are you selling? In the meantime, however, click on the subscribe button below and press the bell notification right next to it for the latest uploads, because this channel is all about helping you become a remarkable entrepreneur. So go out there today and do something remarkable. How cool is that?